guys, it's me again, Rose from the Philippines, coming back to you with the 20th installment on our How to Bead Letters tutorial series, which is the letter T over here. So for this project, I have an introduction that I will put the link on the description box below. The materials that we're gonna need for our project are the following: a nylon monoline string that is 050 mm, some chalk beads or the acrylic rough beads that you may have of the colors of your choice that are 6 mm. We will need a keyring if ever you want to turn it into a keychain, a pin to poke the holes whenever it gets clogged, and a pair of scissors to cut the string. So the dimension that we have for the letter T is approximately 2 inches high and 2 inches across. So basically, it is a series of clusters of 4 cubes that are worked in a sequence, forming the shape of the letter. The suggested string length that I have for the letter T is approximately 1 meter and half an arm. So the uses are as a keychain or a zipper pull for your bag. You can turn it into a name or a word, as a home decor to your house, and an alphabet to teach your kids. Okay guys, so now we're ready to start with our project. You must hold your string wherein the first end is on your right hand and the other end is on your left. So we're gonna start by putting 3 beads on the right string, and then we're going to silicop. This is a term that I frequently use, and one of my subscribers told me that it is crossover in English. So you insert your right string going to the left and your left string going to the right. Just in one bead, align both of your ends and slide that one bead so that it will go to the rest of the beads, forming a cluster of 4. And your left and right string should somehow be of equal length. So now that we have our first cluster of 4, we're gonna work on 6 more. So to do that, we're gonna put 1 bead on the right and 1 on the left, and then we're going to silicop. Align both of your ends and slide that 1 bead. So now we have our second cluster of 4. I'm gonna show you once again. So put 1 bead on the right and then 1 on the left, and then silicop. So now that we have 3 clusters of 4 on our string, I'm gonna let you do 4 more to complete the 7 clusters of 7 that we need to make the upper bar of the letter T. So this upper bar is composed of 5 cubes. So we're gonna work on that first and then work our way in the middle and then form this middle column. Okay? So you just needed to work on 4 more clusters of 4, and then I'm gonna catch up with you afterwards. Okay guys, so by now you may have 7 clusters of 4 on your string. We can count it on the side, so there should be 2, 4, 6, 7 clusters of 4. So we have an excess of 2 because we're gonna fold it, and then we're gonna connect it to the bottom cluster to form a cube. So to do that, first put 1 bead on the right and then 1 on the left, and then we're going to count where we're going to put it. So this should be the top part now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On the top of the 5th cluster, we're going to silicop there. So we're gonna silicop here. We're gonna align both of our ends, and then we're gonna pull it, and then now we have formed our first cube. Okay, so the next thing that we're gonna do is just to fill up the following bottom clusters, and to do that we need to insert first our string to the upper cluster of the cube, or the first cube. So take your first string and go upwards to this direction here. Take your other string and go the opposite direction from the first string. So now our string should be coming out from this bead here. So now here's where we're gonna form a cluster of 4. So put one bead on the right, and then one on the left, and then salikop. So now that we have that upper cluster, we're gonna connect it to the bottom one. So put one bead on the right and one on the left, and then we're just gonna salikop to the bottom cluster next to the first cube. So we're gonna salikop here, align both of your ends, and then pull your string to make the second cube. Okay, so now we're just gonna position again our string so that it will go to the upper cluster of the second cube. Take your first string and go upwards. So just position it there. Take your other string and go the opposite direction from the first string. Okay, so now our string should be coming out from this bead here. Okay, so now that we have positioned our string on the top part of the second cube, we're gonna form a cluster of 4. So put one bead on the right and then one on the left, and then salikop. So now that we have that upper cluster, we can connect it to the bottom. So put one bead on the right and one on the left, and then we're gonna salikop to the bottom cluster next to the second cube right here. Align both of your ends and then pull your string so as to make the third cube. Okay, so we're just gonna fill in the next 2. So position your string first upwards to the top cluster of the third cube. Take your other string and go the opposite direction from the first string. So now here's where we're gonna make a cluster of 4. So put one bead on the right and one on the left, and then salikop. So now that we have the upper cluster, we're gonna connect it to the bottom one by putting one bead on the right and one on the left. So we're just gonna salikop to the next bottom cluster next to the third cube. So we're gonna salikop here, align both of the ends and pull your string. So now we have our 4th cube. So now we're just gonna position our string again. So insert it upwards to the upper cluster of the 4th cube. Take your other string and go the opposite direction from the first one. Okay, so now we have this. Okay, so our string should be coming out from this bead here. So here's where we're gonna make a cluster of 4. So put one bead on the right and one on the left, and then salikop. So now that we have the upper cluster, we're gonna connect it to the bottom one by putting one bead on the right and one on the left, and then we're gonna salikop to the last bottom cluster here. Align both of the ends and then pull your string. So now we have that fifth cluster, or that fifth cube. We're now going back to this bead here, to the center bead, so as to make a regular cube and work on the bottom column or the middle column. So we're just gonna position our string here so that we can make our middle column. So take your first string first and go to that direction. You just need to position it there so that you can work on the middle column. It's a little bit tricky. Okay. And take your other string and go the opposite direction from the first string. You're just like sewing something. You can pinch your item so that you can pass it through easily. Okay. It's a little bit clogged, so you can use your pin to unclog it, and then you can try again. Okay. So now our string is coming out from this bead here, and here's we're gonna make a regular cube. Okay.